welcome back to another video. Today is Sunday, March 9th. It is about noon. We are here down at my gym. We got a little construction going on. We're moving a couple of our rigs into some different corners of the gym, kind of making it a little bit more spacious here for classes. But what we're gonna do today, we're gonna do a half sim. So we are about 5.5 days out from race day. I race Saturday. Looks like the men's pro wave is about 5 to 5:40 p.m. So I'm in the same time zone. I think that's gonna be ideal. I think it's gonna be my best shot to just have an overall normal day of my life as far as when I normally work out. I'm someone that usually likes to work out between 3 and 6 o'clock p.m. I'm not much of a morning guy. So what we're going to do, we're going to break down the sled push, sled pull, burpee broad jumps, the ski erg, and the sandbag lunges on top of some outdoor running today. It is finally about 50 degrees outside, so we're going to get one of the doors open, and we are going to test out a shoe that was gifted to me from my friends at Saucony and my friends at Fleet Feet Davenport. They wanted me to do a couple just road running shoe reviews for them with the new Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. This is their max cushion, that Incredi-Run foam, that fully slotted carbon fiber plate. There is a little bit of tread on the bottom of here. I definitely know, like with a couple other lines like Adidas, they try to make it very slick and they just try to make a shoe as light as possible. So the more rubber you add to a shoe, the heavier it's going to get. There is a good amount of tread down here, but I can tell you this probably won't last very long. But it's going to get the job done for probably 4 to 5 marathons, whatever. But it is insanely, insanely soft. I did take it through a couple of the stations on Thursday night when I first got it. I took it out of the box. I put it under a sandbag. I put it under some wall balls. I did some burpees with it. I pushed a pretty moderately heavy sled. So today we're going to try, again, the sled push, sled pull, the ski erg, the burpee broad jumps, and the sandbag lunges. And I'm going to see if this is going to hold up for me to race this coming weekend in Houston. So we're going to get set up. We're going to get warmed up. We're going to get hydrated. And yeah, we'll check back in. We'll get some footage of the workout. And then I'll kind of give you a full in-depth review of if this shoe would be good for you for your next Hyrox. It was really good. I'm really glad that I did do this. So we're on day 3 of testing this shoe. Again, not like a paid ad, but Saucony and Fleet Feet Davenport did give me this shoe to review. It could have been good, could have been bad. I think we all knew this was going to be an absolute elite performer when it comes to running on the roads. But me not really having a Hyrox shoe at the moment, I don't have the best experience with the Pumas, just kind of based on some previous injuries. I have some left heel issues, and actually where a lot of their padded support on some of the Puma Hyrox shoes just don't feel good on my foot. That's a personal preference. The On Cloud Boom Echo 3, again, great for like 5Ks, hard running workouts. When it came to Hyrox, I didn't enjoy the shoe. It just kind of beat me up a lot. And then when I first felt this shoe in my hands, I was like, man, and kind of like the minimal rubber tread on here, but there is, and like there's some open slots that are really going to grip on the turf. It's not going to last long, probably in the Hyrox world, or probably even in the road running world. So when it comes to turning and turf and moving dynamically, I don't see the rubber lasting super long on this. But when it came to performance, this shoe was unbelievable. And in every station, it's going to have its pros and its cons. So on the running side, I was able to hit 630 to 640 pace on the runs. My gym is a 400-meter loop, so we just did a little over 800-meter runs each time. It's slightly downhill going out, slightly uphill coming back, and just felt really, really, really good. And one benefit I think of running in a super shoe like this in a world of Hyrox where you are going to get fatigued, your running form is going to break down, is that if your running form breaks down, these shoes don't do what they're made to do. So every time I came out of the station pretty tired, I just remind myself, run well, run well. Even though you're tired and you're going to slow down, have good form, have good posture, land in the balls of your feet. Because this shoe is not made to go slow. If you start going slow, you're really just going to lose any stability this shoe might have, and it's not a lot. So if you are someone that does need that stability in your shoe, this shoe is definitely not for you. If you're someone like, hey man, I want to maintain a good speed, I've got good form, I hit good maximal speed. I'm not going to put paces out there, but like if I'm running my Hyrox pace about 640 minute mile pace, this shoe was just making that pace feel easily. On my last run, I purposely just kind of jogged down to like 9 minutes a mile. And I was like, man, I could feel my foot kind of rolling around because I'm kind of landing more in the middle foot, almost even like the back of the heel. This is not going to be your everyday daily trainer, long, easy run. And if you're not really looking to push your times, this shoe might not be for you. But I will say, I'm glad I put it through a little bit of a demo. The first couple of sandbag lunges, I was like, okay, like I can feel my quad actually doing more work in this shoe in the lunge than it probably needs to. And that's just kind of one of the sacrifices you're making by being in a shoe like this, or like the Alpha Fly, or something that's going to be like max cushion, like the Nike Invincible, or I know like the Brooks Ghost Max. I've seen that out there before too. Like that's a very squishy shoe. So you're not going to get a shoe that's going to perform in every aspect of Hyrox. So, but as I got about 150-meter lunges in over the last few days in this shoe, I'm like, my body just eventually adapted to that feeling. I was able to understand how the shoe was going to react on every single lunge. And eventually, I wasn't even thinking about it. And I was really, really, really impressed on how it actually held up on the sled pull. Like I said, it has these little openings on the rubber, and that was definitely gripping into the turf. I know if you see, like I said, I just don't have good experience with the Puma line for Hyrox, and it's a personal preference. I know they are great shoes. I know I perform well, but if you feel their new Nitro Elite, it is super slick on the back of it. And I think Hunter down in Brisbane, he was saying that he fell over like 4 times on the sled pull because he was sliding all over the place. I didn't have that issue. I really didn't have that issue. Our turf here is a little more of like the grassier, like football field turf. So I actually feel like there'd be a better opportunity of slipping here than like on the carpet in a Hyrox. So at the end of the day, I was standing on the skier. I could definitely tell my feet were kind of wobbling a little bit. But I would rather have good solid runs and maybe lose a little bit of the fatigue on the runs because the shoe is absorbing a lot of that impact compared to running in something a little firmer, and that's going to beat you up. So at the end of the day, would I recommend this for anyone getting in the Hyrox? No. Would I recommend this someone on the more elite, maybe sub-elite, someone that's just going to be holding up more like 5K to 10K to half marathon, quicker paces? Yeah, I would recommend this. I think you could really rip a really good time. I would definitely experiment with it. I will say, you'll notice it kind of reminds me of like the old New Balance 1080 heel cup. There is a pretty good slot down here that's going to seal your ankle in. But the one thing that I love, and Saucony, you do this so well, is the upper. The upper is going to get a little pinched up when you scrunch it up. But the one thing that I could not do with the Nike Vaporfly, and I cannot do with the On Cloud Boom Echo 3, is I cannot tie the shoe tight because the laces have no elasticity. That's probably not the word I'm looking for. Has no stretchiness. This upper is super stretchy, so you can really get a really good lockdown. It does have an extra little loop here if you want to do like the runner's knot. I didn't have any issues with my heel coming out. I know the Asics Meta Speed Sky. I've seen some people, I was actually kind of interested in maybe running that shoe. I noticed a couple of reels, people showing their heel popping out of that. This shoe had no issues. I will say I am on the taller side. I am about 6'2". So when it comes to pushing the sled, my legs aren't as parallel with the sled as maybe like a shorter athlete might be. I'm not really getting down into that like kind of flat line where my heel might come out. I am more kind of taller, pushing the sled with like kind of like my middle extremities and my upper body and just kind of a little more straighter leg. So anyway, this worked for me. But at the end of the day, on a running performance, I mean, this shoe is 10 out of 10. On a Hyrox, maybe like a 6 or 7 out of 10. There's definitely better shoes out there for overall performance. But with this being my last race of the year, I want to be able to run well. And I just don't want my legs to get beat up when I can put something else on my foot. So anyway, that's the video. That's the workout. Big shout out to my daughter. I think she's ready to get out of here. Yeah, this is Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. Hyrox Houston, coming at you this weekend.